Recently, I published a video where I talked about the statement that was released by WWE Home Video UK, which revealed that WWE are withdrawing from home video markets worldwide and stopping all production of DVDs and Blu-rays after December 31st, 2023. I received a comment on that video from someone saying that following that news, they had sold their WWE DVD collection, obviously for far less than what they had originally paid for it. This really all cemented my thoughts of doing this video and answering the question, what now for WWE DVDs? The answer to this is really a two-part question. There is the retailers and there is the second-hand market. Let's concentrate on the retail side of things first, where I'm talking about where you would buy brand new copies of WWE DVDs and Blu-rays. I used HMV as the example in the previous video, and obviously I'm talking about both physical stores and online. Unless we hear otherwise, and I don't think we will, I am likely thinking that we are going to see stores, companies like HMV, take whatever WWE DVD stock that their distributors have and selling said stock in their stores. This will obviously mean that the titles in store, and I will say that stores like HMV, their wrestling DVD selection has gotten much smaller over the years, but I still think we will see them selling the DVDs there, although of course over time the titles that they sell out of will not be able to be restocked, and the ones available will eventually dwindle down to the less popular titles, whether they are premium live events, superstar profiles, or some type of other compilation. They will be eventually left, I think, with some of the less popular titles, although saying that, we may be able to get a bargain or two if the stores decide to put them on sale to get rid of their remaining stocks. However, saying that, when it comes to retail stores, I think physical locations especially, it's not a guarantee that all stores and all companies will do this. Some stores and chains might actually end up deciding, and I've not heard anything in particular about any of them doing it, but in this type of situation it's not unusual for a store to decide, well, actually we're not going to invest in buying further stock, we are just going to sell the remaining stock that we have. So even though there is certainly in the UK and Europe Crown Jewel 2023 coming out, and that will be the last DVD released, they may not want to buy that, they might want to get into their store, and they may just simply sell the remaining stock that they have in their individual stores. Again, it's up to each individual company and chain how they want to do things, and again, I'm not hearing anything about ones in particular doing it, but on these types of occasions they may decide, well, it's not worth investing in more stock, especially because of the WWE network and the lessening availability of WWE DVDs. They may decide, we're not going to invest money on any stock, we're just going to sell the stock we have, because obviously if they invest the money and they can't sell then the stock, they can't recoup their money, which is actually something I'll talk about in a little bit as well, because it goes into the next section. So if these kind of stores can't recoup that money, they will not be wanting, or maybe just they want to draw a line under under the whole thing. But certainly, in terms of retail, again, physical stores and online who deal with brand new copies, I do feel that we will see the end of retail sales of WWE DVDs within the next 12 to 18 months. I honestly have put that timeline, which is a little bit longer than I originally had, because I think it may take some time for them to get rid of some of the less popular titles, but certainly within the next 12 to 18 months, we will see the final end of retail sales of WWE DVDs. I mentioned recouping their money because this leads me really to the first part of the second part, or second half of the answer of what now for WWE DVDs, and that is, of course, the second-hand market. These retailers will obviously sell to the general consumer, whether you're an avid collector, whether you're a completist collector, or whether you're just like, I would say, like myself, a general collector who's gotten WWE DVDs and Blu-rays for Christmases, for birthdays, and even bought many themselves over the years. Many people will have their collection in their house or properties, and many people following that news. I think I mentioned earlier that I received that comment from someone who sold their WWE DVD collection for far less than they originally paid for it. People may be going down that route as well and deciding to get rid of their collection. And obviously any resale instantly makes it a second-hand market, and that is going to be, once, especially again, the retail sector closes to WWE DVDs, this will be the only place where you will be able to get them. And I will take as the first example, trade-in stores. I mentioned again they're recouping money because some trade-in stores may actually take the same kind of line as some of these stores, as they may not actually want to deal with wrestling DVDs. Again, considering the situation, there is the WWE Network, no more are going to be produced, and it all depends, of course, on the chain and the stores themselves on what they sell and what they don't sell, because especially, for example, if you were to take some of your WWE DVD collection down to there, let's say it's a physical store, wherever it is, and it's a store where they may not sell a lot of sports or particular wrestling DVDs. If you were to sell them your DVD collection, they're giving you money. They want to recoup that money by reselling the DVDs that they bought from you. And if they know that that stock is just going to sit either on their shelves or in their storage area, they're not going to be able to recoup that cost, the money that they've given you. So they're not going to perhaps be willing to buy or trade in any WWE DVDs that you may offer them. So again, it's just up to these kind of trade-in stores. We think of wrestling as a hugely popular thing, but still it is, to be honest, quite a niche market still. So some of these trade-in stores, again, physical locations and online, may not want to deal with wrestling DVDs if they don't feel that they're not too popular or they don't really like to deal with them, and they're not going to sell, whatever the reason is. They may end up saying no, but I'm sure there'll be some trade-in places where that you can actually trade in or sell your DVDs to them. So that's certainly one place I think we will sell. We will see WWE DVDs being available in the second-hand market. Will be the trade-in stores. There are obviously also the real physical markets, where I'm talking about the weekend Sunday markets, jumble sales, car boot sales, those kind of markets. I feel that we will see WWE DVDs being available there as well, much like the VHSs of the World Wrestling Federation in the days where VHSs were basically ending. I used to see them. I don't really go to markets nowadays. We used to go as a family, and I used to see quite a number sometimes of WWE, what was now WWE VHSs. So those kind of markets may be a good place to actually see them as well. Again, regular Sunday markets, jumbo sales, car boot sales, those types of places is somewhere that they will be available. Saying that, not all markets might be willing to allow traders to actually sell DVDs. Several years ago now, one of my brothers wanted to sell some of his DVDs. It was Hollywood movies and television stuff, I think he had. A couple of the local markets, I think they either had or was nearby markets as well, people that were selling copied DVDs, which is obviously illegal to do so. It's absolutely illegal to make and distribute in any way copies of DVDs of content that you don't own. Again, Hollywood movies, wrestling DVDs, television shows, those kind of things. And I certainly do not condone that type of thing in any way, shape or form. It is highly illegal to do that. So I think at that time there was a little bit of an issue of a couple of traders seemingly being seen or being caught selling copied DVDs. Many markets have probably got a bit more of a relaxed attitude now, if it has been a problem in that area in the past. It is actually, I would certainly include in this video that it is maybe worth checking if you're going to pitch up to one of these weekend markets very, very early at the crack of dawn in the first thing in the morning and try and sell your wares. It is maybe best to check with these markets on what items they do not allow to be sold, and checking whether that includes DVDs if you're going there to sell your collection, or maybe it's a mixture of your WWE ones, wrestling ones, and again Hollywood and television stuff. It's maybe worth checking out. It may not be a problem these days, but with the capabilities of modern technology and people being able to copy them and sell, obviously some people sell them, it is maybe worth just checking that out. And it's obviously worth checking out and being careful of that if you're buying at these types of markets as well. But certainly these kind of weekend markets, car boot sales, jumbo sales, these are places where we also see WWE DVDs being available, assuming that the markets are okay with authentic. And I'm not saying the majority of people do that. The vast majority of people will be reselling or selling authentic DVDs that they bought in the stores and online, but obviously there's always the small minority of people that ruin it for the rest in terms of reselling different items. So these kind of second-hand markets certainly it would be a good place to look around if you're at one, if you're interested in still picking up any WWE DVD or Blu-rays. I would also say online auction sites. They're another good market where we will see, after the retail sector closes, wrestling DVDs being available. The likes of eBay's and other websites like that all already have and have had for many years wrestling DVDs available. You look on eBay, and I looked on it a few days ago, the prices were reasonable and there was quite a fairly wide selection of DVDs available, ranging from about £3 till about £10-15 for some of the box sets, Superstar Profiles with multi-disc ones. So the prices at the moment seem to be fairly reasonable. I have a couple of concerns really about the likes of eBay and these are kind of other online market auction places in regards to WWE DVDs in the future. Firstly, it is going to be a buyer's market. So if you're looking to sell and convert your DVDs into money, you've got to remember that. I do feel it is a concern that the market will be flooded because many people might, again with the network being available and no more DVDs being made, there may be a ton of listings put up for the same or similar titles on these sites. So there will be there is a potential for the market to be flooded. So if you're wanting to sell your DVDs, then the market is not going to be working in your favour. It's going to be a buyer's market. So there is going to be a ton of WWE DVDs available. Something what I'm really concerned about in terms of being concerned about these types of markets is what I call price gouging. I'm not talking about the average person just trying to get rid of their WWE DVDs and convert them into a little bit of money. There is certainly going to be, and I'm sure there's already on these kind of websites, people who will list their DVDs for extortionate prices. They'll try and take advantage of the situation and list a DVD which may be really worth, say, £5 for about £30. I'm not talking about the average person. I'm just talking about somebody who's trying to take advantage of the situation and rip people off, basically. And I would certainly hope that people don't fall for that kind of thing, that people take the time, do the research, look at a lot of different listings, do different searches, whether it be some of the tips of likes of eBay is to kind of slightly misspell the name of the DVD or whatever it is that you're looking for, and somebody that maybe not be able to spell as well due to whatever, or misspelled it, might come up there cheaper. So if you do your research and look through these kind of websites, you may very well be able to find the title that you're looking for, if there is a particular one, and find it at a reasonable price. So I would certainly hope that those who list their any DVDs for extortionate prices don't get them sold. Because again, the market will be kind of flooded. There'll be a lot of people putting their DVDs on the likes of eBay and other sites that are available. So there will be plenty of titles available. The last kind of concern that I have is that some people may think that they will be able to list their DVDs and make a reasonable amount of money from selling them. Again, with so many being available, people will be able to, again, pay a reasonable price, not be kind of basically hijacked with massive prices. And I think it is a genuine thing that some people may say that, or maybe think that they'll be able to list their DVDs and sell them for a quite a big amount of money. The truth is that whether you are selling them on these kind of online websites or even the physical boot sales Sunday markets that I just talked about, the likelihood is that you're not really going to make money on these. There's so many different fees available, from market trader hires, fees. You may have to pay £5 or £10 or whatever it is to hire a spot for the day. The travel costs involved, and maybe if it's not too local, of taking your collection and whatever it wares you're selling. Plus, on these online sites, there's the listing fees, selling fees. There's all types of fees on these kinds of websites. So I think one of the concerns is that some people might think that, okay, there might be, I think there will be a reasonable amount of people wanting to still buy WWE DVDs, but you're not going to really be able to convert it into a lot of money. I don't think people think that they're going to be able to go and list them all and make a decent amount of money. You're really not, unfortunately. That is going to be one of the problems I think that people have. They may be able to convert them in a little bit of money, but it's not like you're going to make a heck of a lot of profit. Certainly not in the current situation. I certainly see the second-hand market obviously lasting far longer than the 12 to 18 months, I think I said, for the retail market. And I think that's a fair assumption, a fair kind of general guide in terms of the retail market closing off to WWE DVDs, 12 to 18 months. Certainly, within the next 2 to 3 years, we will see the market settle down in terms of wrestling DVDs. I don't know how the end of production of WWE DVDs will affect the online markets and auction sites. Obviously, the DVDs will get rarer and rarer as people buy them. They go off the market, or maybe some get damaged over time and get thrown, hopefully disposed of responsibly. I certainly see the market will settle down and still be there in 2 to 3 years. We will still see WWE DVDs going around these kind of auction sites. You always get them even from Ring of Honor ones from 20 odd years ago. There's ones like that are older titles that are still around, even though they've got their streaming stuff, I think, now as well. But certainly within the next 5 to 10 years at the very most, I would certainly say that we will basically see the end of the second-hand market for WWE DVDs. With digital streaming, with the network being available so many places worldwide, WWE have ended their production of home video DVDs and Blu-rays, and I just think it's not. It was the case with the VHSs where a lot of these titles were now not really available, and with the DVD production, though, there is the network, so many of these titles are very much available to be watched online. So it's a different kind of situation. Many of these titles are still available. They're not disappearing. It's not as if I really want to see, maybe my VHS copy of WrestleMania 4 maybe worn out. So I really need to look around and find a copy of WrestleMania 4 so that I can rewatch that event. I don't need to do that. It's on the network. That kind of situation. So certainly within the next 5 to 10 years, I think we will see basically the end of the second-hand market for WWE DVDs, which is a decent period of time. But again, hopefully with WWE again ending the home market availability, that will hopefully mean that we will concentrate and make the network as good as it could be. And I know there's content that's taken off it and various different complaints about it. It could be a little bit better in my opinion, but certainly there is going to be a lot of titles that are available on DVD and being available in the second-hand market where people may not want to pay even a few pound for that title and just watch it as a part of their subscription to the WWE network. So it's very much a different set of circumstances than when the VHSs disappeared. I would certainly say it's very sad to see the end of WWE DVD and physical media. It's been a few years since they released any CD, so with modern technology, it's not really that much of a surprise that this is happening. It is very sad. Again, I never try and come across this kind of old dinosaur of trying to really grab on and hold on and bear hug, older technology and say, oh, it's better than my day and stuff like that. I've always been one to try and look to future technologies and try and see what the benefits are to it. And I've grown up obviously with a lot of this technology coming through from VHSs to DVDs and CDs and digital streaming and online and iTunes and all these kind of websites and that are available and digital stuff that is now become commonplace. I do still like having physical media just because if there's an interruption to the service or the weather conditions, there's a storm or whatever that affects the signals, you can still watch the physical media. You can put in, if you've got a copy of it, you can put it into your player, which will really disappear as well eventually. There's been a lot of talk about games consoles becoming digital recently, which I'm not going to get into. But certainly, I do like that to have some physical media for those kind of circumstances. But certainly, again, things like the W Network and digital streaming, that is the future. That is what's going to be happening going forward. And as I said in the last video, I do still feel that other entertainment companies will take notice of a major entertainment company like WWE stopping their home media offerings and go to basically again streaming availability only. I think there will be many of these types of companies that will set up and take notice and keep an eye on how WWE fares in this. Could I see them reinstating DVDs? No, I think that will genuinely be it. I do think production will come to an end at the end of this year, as I'm recording this in late December. It will come to an end after the end of 2023, and that will be it. I do not see this being a temporary pause. I think this will be a permanent thing. But certainly, it's sad to see WWE DVDs disappearing from retail. It is not absolutely the death knell for WWE DVDs right now. As I said, they will still be available for the next few years in the second-hand market. But after that, eventually, let's be honest, WWE DVDs will, in the next several years, eventually be consigned to history.